Hello, everybody. Tonight you're joining me for some Keith Khumalo again, and actually, I consider him as probably our country's strongest bullet player. He played a Blitz tournament before this, did really well. It was against Daniel Caudry and the like, but we're actually watching him playing in the titled arena warm up tonight. And as you can see here, I'm not exactly sure where he's going to start at. Here is GM Sekarume. Uh, another SA player. But we can quickly look for the South African Wolf. And okay, he's online. A minute to go. And this is a tough tournament. He starts in 88th place with a rating of 2500. So you know stuff is real when our country's best at bullet is going to start in 88th place. And okay, this is going to be a fun tournament. We have a few fun players playing tonight. A lot of you will know. I think the top seed is Rebecca Harris. Not sure if he's going to play, which is Daniel Naroditsky. He will probably play the titled arena after this, which is you actually need your title. Yeah, so it is Rebecca Harris, and I think Anish Giri also just joined the house. He wants to play 2 hours of bullet before he plays another 2 hours of bullet. This is madness. And actually, I saw. I'm not sure if he's going to play. He's offline. I don't think he's going to play this tournament. But this is Daniel Caudry. So just to give an idea of where these people's ratings are at. Slim William, another South African. Not sure if I may disclose his identity. I'll ask him, and then I'll just put it in the comment section afterwards if he allows me to. But this is kind of where the South Africans place at in 200th place. The only real serious contender is the Wolf. And okay, he's going to jump into a game soon, so with 10 seconds to go, I quickly want to get to him. And then we've got action. Oh, he's moved down to 93rd place and he's going to go down before the tournament starts. So let's go to his page. And this is annoying because I was here earlier. He's in some kind of correspondence game, which means we're not going to be able to see see him from the TV. And they've actually started, so I want to get to his game now. Maybe it allows me. Okay, here we go. And okay, sorry to reload again, but we need to stay on his TV. And this game has already flown away. He starts in 110th place, so bunch of players joining in late or on the last second. So this is a very, very tough tournament. And okay, we have this kind of French thing he goes for. I'm not sure. I'm not going to go all the way back to the opening, but he likes playing the French. Okay, he's got knights versus bishops, and this is actually quite nice if you're playing bullet. Knights take away a lot of time from your opponent. They need to figure out where they're going. And this is an interesting move from white. Okay, very interesting, just running his king to the center. They are transposing into the endgame, so they're actually in the endgame if you can say so, but there are just so many minor pieces, it feels like a structured middle game. But he knows the king is kind of safe here, and it can contribute to this pawn structure. You don't need another piece to defend here. Maybe preparing some kind of pawn break, trade, and go here to get at this king that maybe moved too quickly. Yep, exactly what he does, but he goes for the e-pawn. Wonder if he's keeping this for later. Yeah, he keeps it for later. And I'm liking the wolf now. I'm playing very actively. Just looks like a very drawish endgame now, but all the work white has done with his king, he's not really showing anything for it. Oh, here's maybe now a weak pawn. White can gnaw it. Oh, but the fork, he picks up the exchange, but is the game over? Maybe not yet. Get your king on a light square. You trade off. This is also interesting. I wonder what would happen if he'd taken that. But white just resigns. He knows black will. Probably this endgame is also won somehow. Not sure if this is a one endgame if you're going for that exchange. Maybe just a draw. If it was, then this is maybe a reason why he resigned. Okay, so we have action. We have a type of Maroxy bind. Oh no, this guy just blunders his queen. Was this a sneaky move? That was a sneaky move. No, it wasn't. He just attacked the piece, and then in pre-move mode, he picks up the piece. And okay, 2 wins already. This puts him in 4th place, already competing with the strongest players. A 1200 berserking him. This is probably not a 1200 if he's in 1st place. I would be very careful about this guy. A sandbagger. Okay, we have a type of... I'm forgetting the opening's name, but you can play the Venko Gambit if you go here. And this player is very aggressive with the queen out early. And being very tricky, actually. Using a lot of time. He's berserked. Okay, he's dropping a piece. Oh, this should be the wolf's game. Unless there's some serious threats along this line. But I doubt it. The wolf is comfortable. I didn't buy it. You can pick up the queen. Okay, this is game over. Does this mean the wolf goes to first place immediately from the start of the tournament? Who knows? He's already on fire. He's going to get 8 super quickly. Just going to throw that exchange. Defends this bishop, but also brings a piece to the attack. White could just resign, but he keeps on playing. Now he's just going to flag him. I don't think it's even going to go to a mate. And, okay, timeout. Does this mean the wolf is in first place? I will be very excited if so. Come on. Get us a pairing. Oh, second place. Nearly there. If he gets this game, it's an 1800. He can do it. He'll be in first place. And we are watching Keith Khumalo play some very aggressive bullet. Castles quickly. Actually just gambits the spawn for a big center. And shifts his weight of his knight to the queen side. This is now a weak pawn. Okay, the knight's just going to attack now. It can always go back to f5 to go after this pawn. He's just picking up pawn now. Is he... This is tricky, actually. Yeah, he's picking up pawn. This pawn's defended. You need to move the knight. Is he giving a check first? But now how to defend this pawn? Okay, that's interesting. This is a clever way. But you're losing the e-pawn. Okay, well... Actually not. That came with tempo. So... Upper pawn, and also he's playing against this huge triple pawn chain, which is going to be very nice for him in the endgame. You're not going to be able to defend these pawns so nicely, and he knows that he just goes on a train of chopping down these pawns. He's going to put the rook behind this pawn, run this pawn through, or just make it a bigger threat. First, keep the king out while the king can't go here. Pins this pawn, just lift the king, and now pushing the pawn just seems fine. Yep. Nothing to do. The rook can't even enter. He's got a queen. He's going to get another win. The checkmate seems close. White resigns. Does this mean he's in first place so far? Only 10 minutes down in the tournament, and we have got still second place. So there's still someone with one more win. But second place so far is very, very good. And we've got a lot of players in the spectator room. South African players like Bonking Corsi and Kize. Killer Frost 3, if I can mention them. And I think we're all excited for his sake. He's really a fantastic bullet player. He did mention to me that his data might run out, which is sad considering that he's already in, well, close to first place. And this is a nice move. The knight's out of the way, and now you're just stealing this huge center. And you can go for the endgame. If black trades, you've got this huge center still. And compare the bishops. This bishop only has kind of this one square to go to. And this one's going to be very happy playing against this pawn. And okay, it feels like he's comfortable. He's playing against a strong FM, but this is already such a nice position for him. You can do this, yep, and pick up the rook. The knight can't defend. Is black going to resign? He resigns. Now he should be in first place. Come on, definitely first place. I'm putting my money on it. If he's not in first place, it's going to be sad. It will be nice for him to get first place. These wins are coming in very quickly. Is he going to get a pairing quickly? Ah, he's first place. Well done, well done. Unknown M8. I wouldn't trust this player's rating. 2037. Oh, I actually realized that the ratings are being cut off from the screen, so I'm just going to open this up a bit. Hopefully you can see that. And okay, he's in first place there, as you can see. Well done to the wolf. And okay, I'm missing a bit of the game, but he's up a pawn somehow. Is it a good pawn? It seems good. It's this pawn. And how to make progress now. This is a bit uncomfortable. Okay, so get the knight out of the way. And looking for this fork. Also, this pawn's weak, so you can go for this in any case. And now he's going to shift gears and go on the offensive. This pawn's hit, but white actually figures a way to pick up a pawn quickly. Tricky stuff. He can capture back. This knight is fortunately defended. I was actually scared for his sake for a second that it wasn't defended. And okay. Another pawn. He's ready to go for the endgame now. I'm not too sure if this endgame suits him. He's got a knight and these pawns don't look too fresh. So always be careful as white for this attack. And he's going to make progress maybe now. Yep, he does so. No discoveries, the rook can always capture. Where do you put this rook? You need to defend the knight. And fortunately, I think white could have played this. Okay, luckily he didn't. And he's gotten rid of this rook defending the piece. Hopefully going to start attacking now. And this feels a bit dangerous for him. I know this bishop here is checkmate. Can't go there. But now the bishop attacks here and can't go king here because of this fork. Oh, what the... Okay, he just stops his check. Okay, white actually had a winning position, but they're down to 10 seconds. This is going to be a time scramble. I'm just going to watch. I don't know what to say. I prefer white here. And it seems like black is comfortable in this time scramble. He's picking up a piece. 4 seconds though. Gets in a check. Moves the... He can pick up that piece. And now you need to play against the pawns super quickly. He's only got 1 second on the clock. What's going to happen? He's pre-moving quite nicely. He can throw in a few checks. But these pawns are still rolling up the board. And white's also going to be throwing in some checks soon. Oh, and is he going to get flagged? And it's a draw. They repeated the position. Okay, that's way better than losing this game. But definitely a very strong player, Mr. Unknown M8. Unknown mate, obviously. This is a chess reference. But this means he's gone down to 3rd position. And he's playing against a player with a very good track record against him. 5 wins. Okay, so... he brings out his queen pretty quickly, then just retreats it again. Black's already up a pawn, and this is a solid pawn. I don't know what this knight's doing, maybe it's just being tricky. Okay, so he's found something to grip at, but the bishop's also being gnawn at. Okay, very, very cool. Just brings more pieces to the attack, but black can't take here because the queen's hanging, and I think he might be winning the game now. This check seems to be very uncomfortable, and then you pick up the knight. You can't do much. I think he's going to be forced to play that, yep. And now what to do about this knight? Maybe just stop communication, finds... Oh, the knight can't get out of this, so he's just going to leave the knight there. Very good, very good. Looking to sack the rook for the bishop and then take this knight, but... was that okay, that was necessary. You can always pick up this knight later. So just defends this piece. He's won quite a lot of material so far. And this is probably going to be his first win against this opponent, though he is still dropping this. He can go rook takes. Okay, but the king is safe. This is white's point, black's point. He's looking for this check, and then if the king gets here, this type of check is going to be uncomfortable because you're fishing the king out into the middle game. He wants more pawns before starting this attack. And, okay. Black is down also on the clock, which is a good sign. But the exchange has started to prefer black again. King must be careful. I mean, oh, okay. This is tricky now. You're hanging the queen. Oh, he blundered. Oh no. Okay, this was sad. He actually had this in the bag. And he's not getting his first win against this Felix Giannojosa. This would have been a good win for him. Keeping him up there. But the tournament's far from over. Still an hour 40 to go. But he drops a pawn quickly again. Maybe he's rattled now. He had a good start and then a very bad loss there. This pawn structure is not too bad. Black can always... yeah, I was thinking black's going to run his king up. And you're moving, transitioning into the endgame with an active king. Okay, some tricky knight moves. Can't check down here. The knight's defending. Nice. And now this pawn's defended. He's okay to go for this knight endgame down a pawn. And his point is maybe this will be a good move. But then this pawn can get gnawed at. And the king will be stuck defending the pawn. So that was the point why this pawn isn't pushed. Manages to win a pawn, but black can do the same. Is his knight trapped? This looks pretty scary. Be careful now. And now it doesn't feel too good for you anymore. Black's up 2 pawns. Black can go into this pawn, king pawn endgame. He's winning. He can make her just the passed pawn. Okay, and Keith throws in the towel. Black's also very comfortable on the clock over there, so no point in taking this any further. Let me just adjust the screen a bit. Put it there. Okay, great. Joke chess, 2600. And Keith is familiar in taking down these 2600s in bullet. Okay. this is a type of, I think, black. Why this is happening so quickly? The point was basically, I think that bishop takes, then knight takes the pawn. So the pawn's now defended. But this is a bit of a... Well, wasn't this hanging? Oh, wait, it wasn't hanging. There was a check, so he first moves his king. So quickly, so quickly. And now the pawn was defended in the meanwhile as well. These guys are playing insane. I'm trying to keep up with them. But I do seem to like black here. He's got a bit of a spatial advantage. White doesn't have a very great bishop. He's dropped a piece, not realizing the queen was needed to defend the piece. And he's getting some serious opponents now. But still a good start. He's going to come back up. Considering where he started, he's playing against the very famous Lee chess player, Lee chess master, Peshka. And I think this is a young player. I think he's like 11. You can go check the profile. Very young player. The knight goes to a6. So quickly going into this endgame. And wow, okay, he didn't drop a pawn. Still playing comfortably. This pawn's defended, but okay, going to c6 seems fine. You got a bit of an outpost. You can always go a5. The knight won't get challenged unless bishop e3. And now you can double the pawns, but then you're playing against the bishop pair. And so he's asking white. Okay, so white just kicked him off of this file. Now you need to remaneuver this knight. But it's still very drawn. This piece is very solid now. And white has got active pieces. Starting to like white now. How is he going to untangle himself? Now this trades, even though it did double the pawn, seems to find a nice flight square for the king. And okay, black has made some use of his position, but he's dropping a pawn now. Maybe there's not a good check. He can't go back to that square. Now simply king f7. And this is still a drawn endgame. Time situation, both sides all about equal on the clock. White has managed to make a passed pawn while black has gone after this pawn. So white has made some progress. This pawn isn't as much as this one. And he's being tricky now. You can't push the pawn. Be careful, the rook will be hanging. So now he's picking up the pawn. Well done. Well done. And now he's actually put up this threat. So I'm considering maybe just g5. Okay, he wants the bishops off. Now g5. And okay, be careful on the clock now. Black's got a better pawn structure, but white's rook is active enough to draw the game. 7 seconds. It's going to be a flagging. I don't know what to say. Just watch the game. He can pick up the rook. Okay, is he going to win this game? He can definitely win this game. And just be careful now. Okay, he's got it. He's got it. This pawn needs to run through. And don't draw now. Oh, there you go. Checkmate. Well done to the wolf. And our first GM, I think. First GM opponent. The wolf is down to 38th place. I think this is the first win again. He needs to get fire now. Oh, and this was nice. Okay, we see the GM's preparation. Already winning an exchange. Usually it's not nice to go for this bishop and knight thing, but in the end there was the spin. And Keith's king is very exposed now, but he's probably going to end up on h8, get the rook to g8. Instead, he decided just to go rook f8. Not too sure what that's about. Maybe just getting in a move quickly. And when did white lose the exchange back again and a piece? I'm definitely missing some things. Okay, this is nice. That square was at least covered. Can't go king to the corner because there would have been queen e8, and that would have been mate. So now he's okay giving back the pieces. I think it was necessary. Maybe the knight was trapped, and his point is maybe he can play against this pawn. This bishop might be too far away. The pawn endgame might be lost for him, because it feels like the king has got many places to enter, and black's pawns are actually very weak. Compared to white's, at least he's got some kind of coherence underneath the pawns. Look at black offers draw, and so Keith offered a draw, but white declined it. White's comfortable, even though he's really down on the clock. He's going to try and press for the win. Any moment now, this sneaky move might come in, and this is kind of black's worry. You need to guard this. I think you couldn't have played king there. You would have really wanted to get the king here when this king was here, but that king would have entered, and the bishop was defending the pawn. So now they're pretty much just waiting, and they agree to a draw. Black declines. Okay, so white offered a draw again, but then they repeated the position. So okay, there's a draw. Still not on fire. Um, Still a decent start. Playing way higher than the position he started in. He started in 110th place, playing on 47th place now. So that's, yeah, really not bad. And this is actually pretty nice, I think. Don't know what they call this. This is like a block, like a pawn block, and you actually can score a lot of space like he's trying to do now. And this is a blunder, right? He's playing against a 2200. The guy's feeling the pressure, and he's just going to trade down into this endgame where he's up a rook. Finds nice active posts for his rooks. He can pick up this pawn, yep. And what to do now? Can get tricky, but this is close to mate, right? This rook can still check for a while, but he wants to just mate like this, and then there's nothing to do. Well done in finding that mate so quickly. Okay, well, white finds a defense, but then gives it up again. Okay, if he had gone rook here, it would have maybe... Oh, but then... Oh no, I was thinking maybe black can go here, but obviously those are white's pawns. That was a nice win. But picking up a rook without too much hard work, he's really fast on the clock. I think he's been playing a lot of ultra bullet lately. And okay, d4. We have a... okay, the opening's going really fast. Something like a Queen's Gambit accepted in the end. This can't be good for black. But what am I? Who am I to say? Black has managed to get away, this bishop away from the position, which is pretty nice since he's got a dark squared bishop. Okay, Keith gives up the exchange, but he's got a pawn for it. And actually some king safety. And okay, well, I was thinking this might have been a square he wanted to use. Maybe he's looking just to give up the piece again, double the pawns, play against these weak pawns like this. He might try this, yep. But rook e8. Okay, well, black misses the point. Now he can't defend the pawns. And I can get back the exchange. But is this rook endgame winning, though? Okay. I like how Keith plays rook pawn endgames. One of the main important things about rook pawn endgames is king, obviously king activity, but rook activity, and then the quality of your pawns. Immediately he's 2 pawns up. You can defend it like this, and these pawns are just marching up, which he does. And okay, just king there. Get your pawns up. You can even, yeah, you can go there one day. Not necessary to even do that now. Is this okay? This is pretty nice, I think, because black needs to defend the pawn back there. And now that's how you attack it. Okay, that's very instructive. Oh, this is actually a stalemate. Oh no. Black can just keep on sacrificing. You need to find a home for your king now. So an instructive way to win that pawn, but also to force a draw. Where do you run your king to? All the way... No, but this doesn't even help, because you can't go rook takes. So black decides to play for the win suddenly, and it's now just a draw. Okay, well done there for black finding that resource. Is he going to get flagged? There's not much to do. The king just runs between these squares. You can pre-move all of those moves. No need to lose this on time. But what's this going to do to him? Another draw from position 41 going down to 57. But okay, even if a GM is playing at position 74, you know the tournament's really tough. And okay, these games they're coming quickly. Just pin that the queen wasn't hanging. Pin the knight. And g1. So the king's probably going to go uncastled. And okay, black has got this similar pawn structure, and black's got 2 knights versus the bishop pair, definitely favoring white here with an uncastled king. Really just a different type of pawn structure, but it seems to favor the king in the center. And these knights are actually going to be, they're not going to be of much use, I think. Definitely prefer the bishop pair. The position seems open with lots of gaps for the bishops to get into. But if, okay, moves like c5, I'm going to try and get a central stake, and then these knights are going to find better outposts. But Keith pushes the knights back. Oh no, he blunders the queen. Black doesn't see it. What? Am I missing something? Why can't you just take the queen? Okay. Okay. Okay, so... Okay. I don't know what to say about that. Just both players in bullet mode, not expecting White to blunder a queen. White also, Keith not expecting himself to blunder a queen, so that's not even an option. It's not on their radars. The queen is just simply not hanging. And okay, the position has changed a bit. One of the bishops came off for one of the knights, but White has picked up a pawn, but it's not the most healthy of pawns. Okay, well, okay, here's some kind of tactic I'm missing. Am I? No tactics. Bishop here. Ooh, am I missing? I'm missing major things in this game. Obviously, you can trade down queens. Now, this is nice. You can trade down queens. Okay, now it's a one game. He's got, okay, black resigns. Okay, this was so far the craziest game. That's all I can say. Two strong players missing queen hanging for a few moves. That doesn't happen too often. And yeah, now we have a Caro-Kann. And this is just traded off. I sometimes this is quite nice for black. Got this doubled pawn. But he gets the pawn to f5, and this is sometimes the theory that it's not too bad. White's super aggressive. Opened up this h file. I don't like playing this as black, but I know stronger players than I do. They managed to defend this, and then apparently this structure here isn't too bad for black. And black's gonna start his own attack now on the queen side. But yeah, centralize the bishop on the diagonal. Now, if white trades, just pawn takes. This bishop isn't going anywhere. You can play rook c8, go after this pawn. One day there might be some ideas. He finds a nice outpost for the knight. Just b6, kick this bishop away, get the pawns rolling. Where is this bishop going to now? I don't know what queen h3 was doing. Okay, do you want to come back in? You can always just trade. Oh, king g1. Okay. This is very nice. Just playing forwards. Sometimes just a very key thing about bullet chess. Having momentum. So now this pawn is rolling. And this was white's master plan, but I'm not buying it. Okay, maybe there's something here. But you can play knight takes c4. Knight takes c4 seems fine. What's wrong with knight takes c4? Yep. Okay. If he takes the rook, knight takes with check. And trades down. This endgame doesn't seem to prefer black yet. Okay, well, the king is... You can't trade there because this will be a big pawn then. But you do get to make your own threats. But maybe you can trade now. Yeah, he considered it. But he's just allowing white to make a queen. But now he's losing. Okay, he's got a big time advantage. 2 queens, though. Is white going to be able to do this? No time on the clock. Okay, well done. Maybe he spent too much time considering whether you could capture the queen, and then decided just to go for it because he's wasting too much time. He can still flag the guy if he just goes for a quick idea. And fortunately for him, it worked there. Maybe against someone else, he would have simply been lost. And we have the same variation again. Is this opponent he played against just now? And this was the same one where black managed to get off this bishop. Keith playing very well, finding super squares for his pieces very quickly. And he wants to maybe play king g2. I don't know about queen h3 there, I'm not sure if that works. And yet again, playing forwards, that's his main idea here. Now this push might come in. Oh, he goes for the same fork as in the previous game. This time it doesn't double the pawns. Oh no, he's dropping that f3. Okay, but maybe this was intentional. Gets to double. This does not look nice. Okay, he did not see that f3 was hanging. But he's keeping up solid time on the clock. Going after the f7 square, but... Okay, black just gives it to him. Wait, why don't you go... wait a minute. Was this pawn undefended after everything? I'm pretty sure he could have captured on f7. But I don't think there was an attack afterwards, so he just thought, okay, let's just defend for a while without making this too risky. King's always got this flight square. You can throw in this check, but now this rook might have been tricky. You need to know that this bishop is attacking your queen. Oh, this is a nice tactic. Picks up a piece. Not sure if it does, but for him it did in this game. Okay, just defend the knight. It's being attacked. Now h2 is a problem. Can you get at the king? This is a serious question. Okay, maybe, yeah. This seems a bit dull, especially with the time situation. Oh, okay, now you need to play. This is lost now. 7 seconds is way too much time for black. The knight could be tricky. Maybe I'm speaking too quickly. This knight of his is a monster of a piece. He's going to fly with it now. He's going to manage to walk with his king to the opponent's king, and then use the knight as a checking piece. There you go, one check. And you can maybe throw in a second. He does so. He can pick up the queen, and he's definitely won. Oh, don't get flagged. Please don't get flagged. Please, you can do it. You can do it. Oh, well done. I spoke so quickly when I saw him allowing that pawn to queen, but Keith just super solid on that clock. Volcano Explorer. Okay, so Keith is going, he likes this idea of putting the bishop on g6 and then getting this big pawn mass. And then making some progress with this mass. Okay, this check, what does it do exactly? Sometimes you like the king here. Some sack ideas maybe, or okay, so now how do you use this pawn mass? I was wondering if f6, king f7 was an idea, because it doesn't feel like white's ever getting at your king then. Something like f6 and then bring your rook to h8. This is annoying. You can't even give up the exchange. Simply this rook would be hanging. And now the pawn formation has changed a bit. It would have been nice if this pawn was here. Or maybe not. Oh yeah, definitely. Bit of a diamond pawn structure. So white is up a pawn on the queen side, which you can potentially make into a passed pawn. Yet again, Keith going for the pawn endgame. White needs to do one of these two, and he doesn't want to go for rook here. It would have made the rook 2 inactive. So he just gives up this pawn, tries to make something with the passed pawn, and Keith is going to show us why tripled pawns in an L shape, why 4 pawns in a row beats any pawn structure ever. And this is just a key endgame. You can't really move the king off of these 2 squares, and white actually just kind of forced that, playing very instructional. You can't go king takes because of rook check and making queen. You need to wait around now, but this is still drawn, I feel. Maybe not anymore. You can play pawn check, and then what's the theory now? You can take. Oh wait, did I miss something there? Okay, well Keith is losing this now. Let's just quickly see what was the problem. Takes. Oh, he just trades down, and then you can't take the pawn. So Keith was being tricky. He just hung his rook, maybe to score some time. And okay, all the South Africans are tuning in. We have who else do I recognize? Hacker Thor, SA Reptile. All of these players are tuning into Keith's game now. Abrito 99. Player on the queen side for black. And now player on the king side, just running these pawns up the board. That's actually pretty tricky. What black's king is quite solid, so you need to open up the position. He wants a queen trades. Oh, drops a pawn. Does this come from like a Sicilian? Maybe e5 was an idea. He's keeping e5 in mind to open up the position. Definitely, he got it in now, I think. But doesn't black... Okay, he's got 3 pieces. Black would have maybe just won that pawn. Black also had 3 pieces. Black's got a nice position though. Keith's knight is still around, so I wouldn't be too certain of the result yet. This knight's going to find a different home soon. Oh, this is a nice tactic, but unfortunately black makes a queen. But now you need to play down a queen, but for a bishop. And this is typical bullet. The game still goes on. Black can give this up again. Oh no, you just... Oh! And this is typical bullet. the tactics and the position don't make too much sense always. You can play now. White's actually got this mate threat, but he loses the piece. But if queen takes bishop here quickly, there you go, and then pick up that, and now it's just a drawn game again. But with equal time on the clock, anything could still happen. Just blunders the rook. Was he being sneaky though? Maybe he was being sneaky, but okay. This was done so well, and unfortunately he ends up losing the game. Nice way keeping pieces around, always keeping an attack going. This is so typical of bullet games. Oh, someone commented too early, so maybe the little trick tactic there to hang the rook, but trying to pick up the opponent's rook, because you know he's going to pre-move, was done a bit too early. Okay. And Keith's a d4 player. Seems to give him solid positions, and it seems like he plays the French as black. I'll keep my eye out on more of his positions as black. Opening here this pawn, but okay, but the knight will be hanging. This is a... And you can pick up a piece now? What's black's idea? Okay, black wants to just play down a piece. Even possible was rook f5, not anymore. And where... Okay, queen... He wants queens traded, obviously, when you're playing up +5, 2 pawns and a bishop. Queen trades isn't bad. Going off this queen yet again. Where's the queen going? Very bad square. You can just do rook b7 even. Make this rook inactive. Okay, this should be a one endgame pretty easily now. He's up a full piece. And there might still be back rank threats around. Okay, you can't, not anymore, but now this pawn was hanging. Knight g6. Oh, okay, just defend the knight, make some progress, start moving your pieces up. You can trade. Maybe you want the bishop around. He wants to double up on the 7th. There are no tactics down here, you can just play your king up. Oh wait, he's dropping a piece. What was the story with that? Maybe, oh, you can't really pick up the piece because of checkmate. Super quick, not dropping pieces even. Oh, shucks. Knight g6 is maybe necessary. What's the idea here? Oh no. Oh, that's devastating. Oh, that's so unlucky. So unfortunate. He had this game. Gets mated there. Oh, so unfortunate. e4, d4, c4. Putting those pawns out there. Just gaining some space. I think this is kind of the idea. Sometimes players just play 1 d4. And it allows you to transpose into like these kings Indians. But then you get the e4 push in as well. Okay, you can go for that e6 pawn. I can do something with this isolated d5 pawn now. Oh, super nice tactic. And now you get to pick up the bishop and defend. No, he's tactically alert tonight. He's playing really well. He might just... Okay, you can't do that anymore. I was thinking he'd trade down and go for this pawn. Bishop c4, something. Keep open some discovery. The queen can't even go to a4. What's the deal with this move? You can... Okay, he plays well. I would have maybe tried some discovery or something. It wouldn't have worked. Giving up too many pieces, and when the knight takes... you got rook takes queen. So not even wasting time on that, just bringing the queen to a proper square. Behind the rook, you can take this pawn now. Oh, well, that drops the bishop. Still need to be careful. When do you capture here? Okay, after the piece is defended. And he falls back, and luckily it's defended twice. There's no back... Oh, there's no back ranks because of queen here as well. But this piece might be hanging. Oh, super sharp. But this comes with check. And now you're playing up a... Do you need to worry about... Oh, okay, bishop takes. And you're coming back for that. Oh, just bishop check. Black resigns. Wow. Okay. These guys are on next level. Not like... With that, there was like this big back rank calculation needed, and he just played forwards so quickly, and it all worked out in his favor. Okay, so I said I'm gonna keep an eye on the opening, and we have a French. And okay, this maneuver I've also seen quite often. I'm not sure what the variation's name is. And he keeps his king in the center and just goes for a very modern way of playing. Since Leela invented this, everyone's just chucking their h-pawns up the board. And maybe this is also a pseudonym of like bullet chess. You just chuck your h or a pawns up the board, see what it does to your opponent's position, pick up a piece randomly, I'm going with the normal move, queen a5. And then since when you're piece up, just keep a time advantage, make simple moves. I was thinking maybe go queen sub, he keeps his king in the center. Not even necessary to move this king. You can still go... what do you do here? Yeah, you don't even give up the exchange for that. Maybe just g6. You got king g7. He finds a more active way to play the position. Excuse me. Yeah, this is better. Bishop. Okay, so king g7 is definitely an idea. This bishop can't move here. I was mistaken. And now he's setting up this little guy here. White's not careful. This is checkmate. Actually, he can still go for this. He just makes the king safe quickly. I think. What's this move about? Oh, it's pinned. Ah, these guys are devilishly quick with the tactics. And oh, he drops a piece. No, he doesn't. Now he might have play on the f-file, but his king feels a bit airy. So white resigns. So basically, that was just very, very good calculation. He didn't drop the piece. Part of bishop c5 was so that the queen would capture and the pin would be alleviated. And he saw king h6 as part of it. I was mistaken. Guy's playing way above my pay grade. Another h5 move quickly after this fianchetto. A very safe way to play maybe. And then keep your king in the center. If I can teach you anything about his style so far, just postpone castling and go on the offensive immediately. This tactic doesn't really do anything. You'd actually like your bishop here. Now castles queenside. And it's going to allow this. But this seems to open up the center. So he's allowing attacks that seem to favor him. This is annoying. Even still, you can trade on queens like this. He's going to do it. I don't think there's a mate. Is there a mate? He's going to throw in a couple of more checks. He can pick up more material before going for it. But maybe knight here. There might be something with pawn takes. Yep, pawn takes. Queen here and then got rook here as well. Yeah, that's the idea. So rook here. Where's the defense? Queen there and then mate. Nice. Very instructive. 98th place. Okay, so he's moved down a bit. But the first hour isn't done. There's still an hour, 14 minutes to go. As I mentioned, this is just the titled arena warm-up. So a lot of these players are going to be playing this tournament and then the next one. And if I'm just looking at these tactics and even just commentating, it's pretty insane. Having to play tactically like this for such a long while. I mean, that picked up a pawn, but you needed to give it back. So you're playing... Oh, okay, let's not discuss this game. Just a simple back rank. I think maybe Fritzy had the upper hand because he was playing with that extra tempo as white. And Dark Knight, 97. Okay, so we have a bit of an imbalance here. Managing to pick up a pawn. Losing the strong bishop. This is definitely an endgame advantage to try and to manage. Okay, so the threat was to take and then win the pawn. White just defended, but then black attacked. The queen didn't want to trade the bishop for this knight. And where to put this knight? Just go back. This pawn is maybe slightly weak, so pile up on it. D4. Okay, not even D4. This is nice going for some trade that would only benefit him. Now captures with the pawn because there's no use in running up the rook into this fork. Okay. I think white might be white's definitely not better because he's down a pawn. But white has actually managed to gain some space here. This knight is the best. And this is really not the worst bishop I've seen, even though it's looking down the eyes of these rooks. It might find itself on e2 and... Okay, well now the rook's not here anymore. Sack itself, but it's also keeping pressure on this pawn. So he needs to defend it before he goes for a pawn break. And he goes for the pawn break, hanging this pawn. Because activity is more important, and actually wait, he gets this pawn as well. Very nice. And now what to do is pin the bishop, start running up the pawn. First the e-pawn, make two threats. Piece activity, but this drops a pawn, but gets another one. I like his style so much. It feels like you know what he's doing, but then he's just got you in for some deeper idea. Another pin, right? This picks up. Wait, never mind. This picked up a piece. Okay, you can trade maybe. Go for this endgame. You should be winning. Get your king there. You could have traded. You can trade this bishop. Just get your king all the way around here. But maybe white doubles the pawns like this, and it's a draw. Now you can definitely take. I would take that bishop so quickly. I wouldn't be letting this bishop survive so long. Okay, but okay, just flags. Well done. Picks up all the pawns, runs the pawns up the board. His own pawns, not his opponent's pawns. He doesn't run his opponent's pawns up the board. I am Batsuren Dambasuren. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. This is like a bird. Not sure if the bird is either one of these b4, g4, something like this is called the bird. Now you guys see my lack of opening knowledge. That's what happens when you play a lot of bullet. You can play anything really. We'll just call it bullet opening. All of these are just bullet openings. Okay, queen check, and now there might be some kind of sack idea if you manage to get... Okay, so this could be a potential sack idea when this knight gets away. Just queen h5. You don't want to trade queens. White will be happy to get rid of your attacking piece. And okay, this is annoying. You need to allow... White doesn't have good pawn breaks, so he'll need to sacrifice a piece if he wants to open up the position a bit. And the black's going to be ramming this pawn up the board, I guess. But okay. My sense of direction is sometimes a bit different to Keith's. I would have gone for something like this, but it seems that play in the center is actually important. Okay. Be careful, your queen's hanging. Well, this was a decent fork actually. I missed the fact that it was hitting the rook too. Can't even pick up this pawn. The queen's defending. You need to be lightning fast. He wants to put the pawn on h3 and maybe always have a threat around. Okay, I was mistaken. He needs to maybe centralize them. No, you can't even do that. Queens can't be traded. You'll be losing the game. So there's really no holding on to this bishop. Okay, so the knight's the more tricky piece, so white gets rid of it. And once a queen trades, yet again, now you have to go for it. But now white's definitely winning. He's going to play this, but you can get your king active. He's going to be ramming these pawns up the board very quickly now. Pick up this pawn, and now start running. Just start running. Oh no, wait, this one. Very nice. Okay, now you need to start running this pawn too. Ish. This is not nice. Now you need to defend on the queen side. Sorry, it's confusing when both kings are on the queen side. Just maybe you can't even pre-move something like this. He needs to run like this to defend. Keeps the bishop around, makes things a bit more tricky. But now 1 second to go. Is white getting the mate? Who knows? Run towards the center of the board. I would have gone to get out of there. Yeah. 1 second though. You're getting checked, which is pretty tricky as a guy pre-moving, and this IM seems to be very quick on the clock. He hangs the piece in the end. Unfortunately, that would have been a draw if Keith had taken it, but at that speed, maybe that was just restricting another pre-move. Maybe he had king moving there because he didn't expect the piece to be hanging. And Nicolaj 6. They've played a game before with Nicolaj having won, but I'm not sure if it was this tournament. I'm not remembering the names too well. Finds this excellent outpost for his knight, but black might even claim that well, this is a good outpost. None of my pieces are close by, and I'm shifting the game towards the king side, so maybe your pieces are not too well there. So he's looking for another outpost potentially here. Black's pretty quick on the offensive. I'm trying to see maybe knight f4 is the idea if you're pushing this pawn, or don't push the pawn. You need as a defense. Okay, so he gives up this. I'm not sure what the idea is now. I think this is losing now. Yep. Definitely losing, but maybe he can spin some magic. Oh, this is mate. There's not much to do here. Nicolaj finding this beautiful knight rook mate, which is not always a theme in the middle game. So down to 104th place, playing against Women FIDE Master by Cole 777. And still the South Africans in the spectator room. spurring on the South African wolf. And okay, is white really going to go for the spawn? I'm not too sure. White's also not too sure. Okay, wants more pieces before it does that. Oh, okay. But f5 was maybe an idea which was missed. Maybe not. White's up a pawn. Black should probably just do this. But bishop there. Rook, another pin. Pins on pins. Oh, you can take this knight now. Take the knight. Come on. Oh, but is there another pin? No, but you can defend. Oh my gosh. No, he should have taken this knight, I guess. That would have been like an exchange, but somehow I missed what happened in the game, and the game seems very drawish again, even though white's up a pawn and double pawns. I like this bishop a lot. Okay, this bishop is no longer... But white doesn't even want this bishop, saying I'm wrong about the bishop. What do? Just get your rook active maybe over here, so that you maybe have this threat if the knight moves. White just gets out of it, playing with the time advantage. A small time advantage, very comfortable. And white is kind of doing really well here. It's hard to play this as black. King moves here. This isn't mate. Wish it was. To save the bishop, go for some pawn. Which pawn? Now this one. Maybe white's playing this wrong. Feels like... okay, white's focusing on the f-pawn. Going to... But still a lot of work to be done. Not a lot of time on the board. On the clock, I mean. Oh, rook back? You have to go for this? Oh no, what is this about? Wait a minute, what is... Maybe he thought the queen coming to the board didn't come with check. But now this is very devastating. Oh. What to do? No, this is just mate. So I think... Okay, I can't go back. They're in a new game against Tiran. And now, okay. Playing for the 100th place seems like the big thing the Wolf should be trying to do in this tournament. Started in on 110th place, but I think 100th is really a good feat. Okay, so fortunately that came with check. But he seems to be giving up this bishop pretty quickly in a lot of his games. And then playing around the weakness of this g3 shove. And okay, very instructive, just centralize. Sometimes making your pieces better simply means getting them into the center, like literally, not just like to f4 but to the square e5. Since doing this, he's actually taken control of the file. And it's still a pretty joyish game, but you can see he's the one pushing for space, and now he's managed to get double pawns. So something like f4 and just king e3. But now you need to be careful. This endgame with this backwards pawn, you can't even go rook d3. So he offered a draw. Black declined it. Now you need to run the pawn before doing this, because the captures would have defended the pawn. But now this is a definite draw. But black offered the draw now, and now Keith declined. He's feeling comfortable now. Playing down a pawn and allowing this isn't this is what I would call comfortable. Okay, this is a way to go after the pawn. You can't... What's the story about king going there? They're going to make a draw though, I think. Rook takes. White offers draw now. Now Keith offers a draw, but black declines it. So they're wasting a lot of time offering draws. And black stands better. Up a pawn. King, rook activity. Better pawns. Passed pawn. Time situation though. 13 seconds for the wolf. Sneakily going for this pawn. Black making pretty decent progress. This is coming soon. Actually, rook there is coming. In any case. Now, okay, obviously he was going to be sneaky with this, but black makes a queen first. Oh wait, I did not calculate that correctly. Just be careful, don't walk into some fork. And now you need to... Oh no. Let's just watch this. Okay, this is hopefully a draw for him. But 1 second. Nope, black can pre-move this to victory. Oh my word. So unfortunate. Both sides playing for the draw there. Both facing the fact that they could have lost that game a few times. Pretty crazy things happening. And this is the nice thing about Bullet. We're getting in so many games. In so many GMs, actually. Thinking how many times can a South African play against the GM on home turf? And that's actually pretty funny because a lot of the times, the reason I'm saying it like that is a lot of the times the players end up playing each other in different countries. Okay, so he picks up pawn on the queen side, and this is actually a clean pawn. The rook didn't have this tactic because of the bishop. And he's being very provocative with his bishop, getting the rook off of the 8th. Sometimes you don't coordinate too well when your rook ends up here, and this is actually quite a key point. I'm thinking you need to do something like this to get the queen trades in. In any case, instructive. The pawn's on a wide light square now, and you can go after it. It's not defended, and the king manages to get all the way there. So what are you doing about king captures? Absolutely nothing. He picks up another clean pawn. Well done. And this side of the board is actually safe. The bishop defends it. Not really getting rid of the bishop. This bishop is worthless now. This heavy pawn chain. Now maybe even bishop c3 one day. He first clears the path for bishop c3. Then rook coming here is... Okay, bishop c3. Don't know what this GM is doing. Fake Bruce Lee. Capture there. You can go back, or you can just push this pawn. Maybe push this pawn. He wants to go for a mate. Not yet. Oh, this is still very okay, I'm not too sure. 2 seconds on the clock. Black being tricky. This is comfortable now. Don't drop that rook. Just make 1 or 2 more moves. Just anything wins. Anything except losing that rook on the last second. That has happened so many times to so many Bullet players that it's not even a joke. Okay, what? We have a d4, c5. I don't want to be incorrect, but that's the Benko gambit. So, and actually, I think white played some kind of counter gambit, and black captured pawn. So he's up this extremely annoying pawn. Going to see if he can find a knight on this square. Not seeing that immediately, but if this comes too quickly, yeah. So he's clearing up the square. Oh, what's that about? Wait. There was a piece here, probably. Something. Okay, still, this is a nice outpost. Wins another pawn. I don't think white's going to be surviving this. This bishop's on an outpost now. What to do with this knight? Maybe just go here and then push this pawn. Yep. Push the pawn. Seems fine. Okay, can you still do it? I think you still do it in any case. The h pawn seems very weak. So now queen takes. Okay, first rook takes, but queen takes. Now queen needs to go here to defend the mate. And probably knight takes. You can go for this and queen takes, and then try and get your rook up. Just don't trade down queens. You've got a big advantage. You can go king h7, get the rook here. Now you just, okay, so this is a problem for white. You can't move the queen. So he did go king h7, get the rook up. White's defending properly though. And they've gone for a rook pawn endgame where black is just playing very comfortably. Even going after an extra pawn here. And this is nice. This was a good doubled pawn. It managed to recapture back here. But white's extremely fast on the clock. Well, that's a sneaky move. Hanging the rook again. And you can just sack the rook here. But he's going to go for mate. Quickly, just pre-move. Oh, okay, doing it this way, you can run up the queen and rook like this. Also, just be careful, don't walk into that stalemate. That needs to come with check. If he went there, now it would have been a draw, so he just throws a queen back. And okay, I'm happy to see he's played the first hour. It's still going on. Another Karukan. So I think that's kind of our go-to for the tournament, either a French or a Karukan, giving him similar pawn structures. And okay, queenside castles this time, not going kingside, but now it feels like this file is going to explode. His king seems fine. Maybe the c file is the only thing you worry about. And oh, before the tournament started, I forgot to say, I actually saw Caudry's name in the list. I never got a chance to check up again if he was playing. I think he's not playing. He wasn't online a minute before it started. But it will be interesting to see how he did after the tournament compared to the Wolf. Because he's definitely the Wolf's equal or even stronger at Blitz. If we just compare the ratings very blandly, the Wolf is like a 2400 at Blitz, and Caudry's even 2600 I've seen. So he's setting up this tactic. Check going off the queen. This game he's actually, I don't know, he went into something very sharp. Here he's doing it again. I don't know what the story is. Oh, if you take the bishop, it comes with check. So don't know why white's allowing this. I think white missed it, that it comes with check. Maybe knight there is just good. Maybe a blunder. In any case, I was busy saying that while Keith is about 2400 blitz, but Caudry, again, with bullet, way lower rated, 2300, I think. Maybe just 24. So this was a nice win. Allowing himself to get attacked. Sorry, back to the main point that Keith is definitely a few hundred rating points stronger in bullet. A matchup between them would actually be interesting. So I think this format, the warm-up arena, if they both played, will be a good tell of Keith's strength. 109th place. Very, very good. And okay. Another player also worth mentioning, good at bullet, Lefu. Sekarume, I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. Just correct me in the comment sections if I'm not. Not a good classical player, or according to his rating, not like a lot of us, but crazy bullet player. Always berserks players in blitz games because it ends up being like bullet. And okay, I haven't been commenting on this game. And then obviously Banele, who is Keith's counterpart, I'd say, in bullet. But Keith definitely... like 100 points. This check is devastating. You're getting mated. Very nice mate. Pieces aren't doing anything. White's just going to resign. You need to play bishop d1. And my sense of this game was that it was actually pretty quiet, but black just a bit more active in the end. Sorry, I'll stop rambling about the South African bullet players. There's a reason we're watching the Wolf. We have knight f6 and e6. Okay. What is his response? Just get castled quickly and get the e4 pawn in. Okay. See how this pans out. And the pin isn't there to recapture the queen. Centralizing queen out of the pin now. You can do something with a knight. He does so. Probably just queen here, but queen there. Okay. Now you've got knight f5 ideas one day. One of the ideas being that you can recapture with tempo against the queen. Now it comes just so much more nicely, and you've got a mate threat. So if you can manage to sacrifice something for this knight, well, there's no more mate threat anymore. Black just shuts that down. White, big spatial advantage. Move e4 seems like it did a lot for white. And maybe you can give up the exchange, yep. Immediately thinking that that's just such a strong knight. But your position is playing itself as black now. As white now. Saying knight, it sounds like white. Okay. No, okay, this is a nice outpost for the bishop. Bishop there. Get the rook to the h. Okay, well now the h file might not be where your rook wants to go. How to make progress? Okay, you maybe wants to get in on this pawn. Just get rid of the attacking piece. Okay, now he can go after this pawn. The position's shut. This bishop is doing a good job of keeping the queen inactive. Finds a nice way for his own queen to get active. Can throw in a few checks maybe. Use up some time. Maybe he needs to trade on queens now. This seems bad because this queen might enter. And now black is actually better. After going for these deep ideas, maybe this is why classical games would end up being better. So he makes a pass pawn, but the rook gets behind it. And even this doesn't do a lot. He's going to end up resigning this game, unfortunately. Very sad. There was maybe somewhere a nuance that you'd find if the time control was a bit longer, but trying to keep active. Playing very intuitively over there. For that exact exchange was definitely correct. It came naturally. Okay, so this is pinned. And we have another French with the h-pawn running up the board. The king going uncastled. Bishop g7. Okay. No hanging pieces. Gets rid of his light squared bishop. And white, actually, I'm not liking white. Feels like he's tactically going to walk into something on the king side now. This check, for instance. This should be game over. Definitely. We're going to have a resigner. And so fast. 2600's going down. You can go back for this. What other material are you looking for? Okay, this is still on the board. You can do so much destruction with it. Or can you? What's the idea? Maybe white is correct in playing on. Where's the good knockout blow? Where is it? Apparently there isn't one, and you need to go into the endgame, +6, but who's got a problem with that? Just defend that, get your rooks active, f5. You can defend the pawn, you can even go e5. And I don't know why white's playing on. Maybe it's because he's getting another piece, but so easy for black to play this. White rook can never even leave. The first rank, this is always a threat. And I mean, this rook coming here is also bad. The pawn's run off the board. This will also be a checkmate threat on h2. Okay, so we have Fritzy, the guy that won, I think, such a quick back rank mate game against, against Keith. And he deploys an e5 c4 line, which Keith gives up a pawn for, gets it back later. And this is pretty cool. Going to centralize a piece somehow. No, first just not sure what bishop f4 is about. You're just helping this rook develop. But okay, now it's got good use on this f2 square, getting your rook active. d6. Black piling up on the 7th. This is white. Oh, and he drops a piece. Oh no, this was not a piece dropping. I was thinking maybe white was going to go for this, but then the game exploded and went in a completely different direction. Spawn's hanging for this one. It's pretty fine. Yet again, the 7th seems to be a problem. White could have taken, right? Maybe there was some in-between move. Or some tactic. Okay, when is this pawn going to start rolling? I get the queens off like this, okay. And then start rolling this pawn. I want to get this pawn rolling. He wants the king open. Just attack these pieces. Okay, this is nice. Just making this piece horrible before rolling this pawn even. Keeping this a threat. Sometimes I think making different threats in such fast-paced games is better than making the strongest one. Because your opponent is maybe expecting the one threat and you're coming up with creative ideas. They can't deal with everything. This is a very nice move. Doesn't drop any pieces, just goes for the exchange when you're playing up a rook. Very nice. And not a lot of time on the clock. You need to be careful now. Just king up. And now checkmate the guy. Be careful. Be careful and checkmate the guy. And is this the same? Yeah, this is the same women FIDE master he lost the game against. And we're seeing this line a lot. I'm going to have to go see what the theory is on this. Yet again, giving up this light squared bishop. Dropping a queen. Definitely feeling the pressure against this opponent. And maybe he should resign, I guess. But maybe he comes up with something brilliant. Just so much time on the clock still for black. Black just running that king towards the center, knowing he can trade, knowing she can trade down rooks on this 8th file. Picks up a piece, and now Keith has had enough. But using 0 time there, like 7 seconds, definitely partly the reason he lost that game. Definitely. Moving too quickly there, dropping the queen. But he did pick up a queen in one of the games really quickly as well. Guess you win some and you lose some like that in bullet. And we have another one of these King's Indians with this huge center for him. And Gajik Yan, actually this guy, we've seen him in a previous game, and I think he was losing and then managed to swindle the game. So Keith has got a nice opportunity, a big center, just a knight e4 sometime. Maybe not just yet. This bishop can find a nice home on f2, but could have maybe even worked via bishop h4, but not looking at any of these c6 queen check ideas. But I guess then bishop f2 also comes in. Pawns hit. A nice way of getting this knight back into the game. Oh wait, the knight did start on c6. Just a nice time burner, keeping a big time advantage on the clock. And this bishop was going to come to this square pretty soon. But first, just expansion on the queen side. Now bishop d4, yeah. Trades. And what about knight e4? Okay, rook e4. Something wants to occupy the square and just throw the rook back maybe. Oh, excuse me. Rook e1. Oh, this walks into the tactic. Maybe rook d2 would have been better. I was looking also at rook d2. Down the exchange, but still very active. You could... Yeah, this is nice. You can take the piece. Take the piece. Take the piece. It's pinned. There's no tactics. Yes. Oh, wait. There's tactics. Knight e4. You're not getting mated. You can go walk back. Walk back. The guy's maybe just going to make a draw. What about this check? Is his opponent going to use it? No, he's going to make a draw. Running the king up, though, what would have happened? Maybe this is what black was waiting for. He could have maybe tried running the king up. Not seeing the immediate loss there. 8 seconds on the clock, maybe there was one, and risking it, not even necessary. Not losing any rating as well in this tournament. Guess, I think 20 points so far. Maybe that he lost. Picking up a piece? What? Okay. Thanks, man. Biland Danila. And it would have been nice if the guy just resigns. That's just another win in the bag. But now you still need to work for it against these guys. But queen takes a check, and then you're picking up the knight, and there's nothing to do. So double blunder. So the guy doesn't need to resign, just resigns manually through playing bad chess. And Grandmaster Magalashvili. I think this is like called the hippopotamus or something, where you fianchetto both these bishops. But one thing I've noticed so far about Keith's style, as white he likes taking space, and as black he likes giving up space. So he's got like different personalities in both openings. No forks yet. Queen's still guarding that square. Okay, and now he's expanding. Definitely. No, giving up a piece like... Oh, no, wait, that's... Oh. Happening so quickly, that wasn't a piece. He probably needs to go queen... Okay, rook here, defends both threats. Queen's still active. King needs to go back to g1, but no, this seems bad. But what are you doing against that? Oh, there's nearly nothing you can do. You need to give up the rook again. Okay, so he's going to give up the rook, but bishop takes is obviously a threat, so you need to get the king out of the pin so that the square is guarded. And okay, now he needs to play down the exchange, but this might suit him actually. He's playing against these two pawns, but if he can get his king to safety, which he's planning on doing, and coordinate with the knight and... Okay, this is now bad. Losing that f4 pawn was probably the end of the game, but sets up another idea here. He can take this pawn now. Oh no, this is just a lost rook pawn. King pawn endgame. This king is going to have to guard these pawns, and this king is just picking up all of these pawns. He tries to be sneaky, but you need to wait a bit longer, I think. Someone was saying that in the comment sections in the previous game. If you're going to sneak in a move like that, you need to wait. At least until it feels like your opponent's really pre-moving. He's still got 16 seconds. Maybe that would have never happened. And this 1300, 2300 I mean. I think Keith is really going to go for him. And we have a French variation, I think, of the Sicilian. Opening up the G file. The E pawn has moved, so you need to do it like that. This captures here, but he doesn't... He could have gone queen takes as well. Wonder why not. Wonder why he wants this pawn here. Okay, he goes for the endgame. That's probably why. This suits him in the endgame. There's big spatial... There's lots of squares for your rooks to rely on now. And after pushing one of these pawns, then this pawn isn't badly placed. Okay, so it makes sense keeping this pawn now. Oh, this rook checks. And you're moving the king back so badly now. You can't go rook takes, it actually just loses a piece. this is probably a draw. Black's losing a lot of pawns here. He can't manage to check. Maybe he should have... No, but then you're not defending this pawn. So you need to give up one of these pawns. This is a nice way of doing it. White should have gone back. He's now regretting it. Now black's definitely winning. Rook behind the pawn, push these pawns up. And the king is also a nice way of getting these pawns running. You need to be careful of mate threats. And now just keeping the rook active or something. And then this check, followed by this check. And this checkmate. Okay, that's a nice win. 81st place. I'm not sure if that's fire. I think he just lost a game before this. But still getting in the points and doing well for his starting rank. 41 minutes to go. Still a lot of nice chess to be played. Fake Bruce Lee. And the Wolf has got a good lifetime score against him. This is a nice pawn sack. Positionally, it makes a lot of sense. If black was going to recapture it, this pawn would be isolated. And the structure pretty symmetrical. Black's now down a pawn. And white has rid himself of this double pawn. A nice quick like bullet motif if you want to try it, I think. Throwing that pawn into the position. This diagonal is going to be nice someday. Okay, this knight's going to go somewhere. Where's this knight going? Actually, he just sacks the knight. Am I wrong? Is there some kind of big threat here? Wait, there was something I was missing. There was something. Why can't you take that knight? Oh, probably the bishop was hanging. Well, the queen was still there. Okay, okay, this is interesting. White's got a big attack here, but nothing yet. You need... Oh my gosh, you can't go queen takes because of this checkmate. Rook takes checkmate. That's very nice to spot. But now you need to defend here. I think this is game over. Well done by fake Bruce Lee. Finding rook takes f7. Great stuff there. Simple checkmate idea. But but before they start, let's just quickly see what was the... Okay. Oh, Samuel Lagrave. I think... Oh, there are a lot of famous Samuel players. But obviously, Maxime Vachir Lagrave. The famous Lagrave player. I haven't seen the two in combination, so it's either... a combination of either like Samuel Sevian or something like that. With the surname Lagrave to make up like a fake player, or it's actually a player with just a cool name. That's a combination of other great players. Any case, we have this pawn structure quite often, and it's backwards d-pawn. And this nice outpost for the knight. Nice way of getting into the queen side. Not probably you'd want to trade down this knight for the bishop, because I'm not seeing you spend a lot of time on this knight anymore. Play with the bishop pair, but he's probably just going to keep it around as a nuisance. Okay. Is this a... This is a cool intermezzo to pick up the exchange, actually. Very nice. Well, I mean the exchange, and that you have 2 minus for the rook. The point was that this comes kind of with tempo against the queen. It's a nice conceptual understanding of tempo. He's got this huge center. Pieces are well placed. The bishop even has a nice square to go to. And actually, where he could have picked up the rook a long time ago. So he doesn't even pick up this rook. Rook doesn't have a decent square for escape. And Lagrave Samuel, the player with a combination of 2 names, throws in the towel. And we have Hakan Kaplan. Okay, that's a cool name. How do you go h takes? Okay. Seems like a problem with these Kings Indians or even Dutch games. This pawn rolls down, captures on g6 when you fianchettoed. What do you do then? F takes, and the rook always looks down the position, or you do a takes and trade down. So in typical Keith style so far, his king's still in the center. Things happening very quickly. And Actually, his king seems safer now suddenly than white's king. You can even just manually castle your king without the rook. But it's so fine over here. Both bishops on the diagonals. Just to mention a few perks, giving up the spawn though. That was unnecessary. I think this is a oh, okay, definitely a blunder. Okay. Hannibal 03. Getting the openings out so quickly. Very instructive. Already stealing space, and I was saying earlier that he likes space as white, but obviously as black as well. It's just his opening choices seem to only get him space a bit later as black, like the French, for instance. So, just got a good lifetime score against Hannibal. Maybe it's someone we know, South African, or just someone he's played a lot. This makes c4 impossible because you'll be hanging the bishop. It's just a positional move. Queen's also going to be ready to attack on this side. First bringing the knight over. White defends, but this is just a nice way of trading down and using the time you've bought. Why white going for this? And this knight actually feels better than the bishop. Firstly, because the pawns were isolated. Very nice tactic, picking up a pawn. Can't go. Rook takes because of the back rank. And yet again, an instructive rook pawn endgame. Now with two rooks, but both rooks active. Okay. And this is definitely winning for him. Not seeing white just drops a rook. No, just drops a pawn. Okay. No pawns versus 3 pawns at least. What's he going to do? Just going to shove these pawns up the board. White doesn't even want any more of this. 30 seconds on the clock for the rook. For the wolf, for the rook. The rook is up on the clock. And Hannibal 03, not being the scary mass murderer cannibal that he is. KND7. That is interesting. Interesting name. Is that just a peace blunder? That's a peace blunder. Oh, shame. Okay. Pre-moving start. This player is going to definitely win. I can't see a swindle from this position. Active pieces. Yeah, I don't want to play this for black. No tricks. I think there are no tricks here. Trading down. He can throw in the towel, I guess. This is not nice. White's just traded down. I think he's given 2 pawns for this trades. Maybe that's why Keith's holding on. He thinks he might have some pawns to play with. But swindles have always been possible in any position. So okay, let's hope for his part there's something here. And using that big pawn master, maybe he's picking up this pawn on d6 one day. Bishop's kind of got a job. Oh, nice. No, not nice. White actually might have made some trouble for himself, struggling to win this position. Keith not really making that great progress because this is coming, yep. Oh, well, he's made a pass pawn, but the king seems pretty close. And the bishop's also defending, so you need to go back. And that's annoying. Can't do this yet, so... Oh, okay. Oh, okay, no. Okay, he tried. He did really well. That was a better swindle than I would have been able to do, especially after those forcing trade lines that White played in the start. Forcing the material off of the board, and okay. Okay, so this kind of transposes into this. Now we saw how it happened in slow motion. This pawn structure, but okay, I'm liking black actually. He's managed to. Am I liking black? Okay, let's reevaluate that. Exchange actually. Bishop there was also holding on to exchange in my defense for pointing that move out. Not seeing that you're picking up the rook immediately. And finding a nice outpost again for the knight. You want to come to the square someday. Oh, you're doing that. Okay, going off the pawn. Just lift the rook up, yep. Okay, black is actually finding some nice ideas here. You need to play rook back. That check actually picks up the exchange again. But in the end of it all, white still stands better. Trading down when he's going to be a pawn up. And this is a solid chain. This pawn is still a weakness long term. Knight needs to remain inactive to defend it. He's going after this knight. That's what this is about. But maybe the king, a tad exposed. Black trying to exploit it. Queen takes now. This is annoying. Why did he allow this? Why did he allow this? Oh no. That wasn't necessary to allow. You could have just ignored the pawn. Oh no, what are you doing? You need to give up the queen like this. Oh, and that just walks into mate. Oh, that's unfortunate. Definitely had this game in the bag. His opponent swindled that kind of from nowhere. I think this was a Caro-Kann. Okay. Thinking maybe he's going to be funny and put the bishop here. He doesn't seem to like this bishop a lot. Gives it up in nearly all his games. What is it? Okay, so he doubles this pawn. The imbalance. There are a few imbalances, but the biggest one is. Well, I was going to say bishop pair and the doubled pawns, but the doubled pawns have paid their due already, picking up even more material. But is the queen trapped now? Did he just trap his queen? There's definitely material to be held onto. You can take here first. Yep. You need to go pawn takes. Rook takes. Yep, you get this. And he's up a piece. That was very close to a queen trap if it wasn't for this tactic in the middle. And now this endgame's easy. You can just go h4. Why? Okay. It doesn't really matter how he plays this, I guess. Very comfortable. Can trade down even more. Bishop there, even if you want. He's annoying. He wants to play bishop there, but there are really no good discoveries yet. So the rooks are going to enter maybe. Bishop there. Not seeing the mate. Feels like he wants the mate now. He's becoming impatient. Maybe he should have tried winning this game differently with h4 or something. Okay. Now the opponent has actually gotten nice 3 outside passed pawns to play against this bishop for. But the rook is inactive. And the king is also pretty close to these pawns. 17 to 12 seconds. This rook is going to free itself up any second now. Go to, sorry, g7. But it can't even check yet, so it's actually pretty annoying. He made a lot of progress, and that's made. Well done. Well done. Okay. 92nd place from 102nd place. Definitely possible to still play for the top 100. Maybe he's going to do a lot better than that. So let's see. Okay, knight h3, keeping the possibility of f4 open, but he wants to go knight f4. And where's this knight going? Is it going to d5 one day? Or even d3 if necessary. And okay, now I'm definitely thinking d5 is the square he's playing for. This is just going to be so huge if he captures back on d5. h3 just making this bishop kind of useless. No funny tricks from his opponent. And maybe even bishop a. h2, just pick up a pawn. There are no squares for the bishop to move to. But now your queen is a bit awkward. But now the queen actually fulfills the role of defending the bishop, and you can move the knight. Crazy things, crazy things. But you don't even need that anymore, because you're just shutting this bishop off. Allowing a massive attack, actually. You need to maybe go knight. Wait a minute. None of this was necessary. Okay, that was a bit too fancy. Too fancy. Yeah. Okay, that wasn't necessary. Let's simply knight here, I guess. He comments, says he's tired. But he's in the game again. Okay. Oh, I'll also be tired after an hour and a half of doing this. I think maybe he saw something else at the end of that line, but saw it trades into an endgame where he's maybe up a pawn, because that seemed to be a long trading line. But then the rook became too active on the second rank. And if he says he's tired, it's actually not that great psychologically. He needs to feel awake. Going back to 101st place, first placed, Firth. The combination between 4th and 1st. Firth. Okay. Is that checkmate? No, that's checkmate. This is still losing. His opponent spots it now. He self-checkmated himself. If this was one of those studies, this would have... okay, that's a nice way. I thought this was just over. But he can still play for something here. No, this just doesn't look great for black. The rook's coming to b8. Need to give up another rook. And this isn't going too well. Definitely tired. Trying a trick there. You can just resign, maybe get in a few more wins before the end. 26 minutes to go. Still a while to go for Bullet. It's at least 13 games. 13 wins. It's a lot of points. Okay. Oh, sneaky stuff there. Look at this. This guy just throws his bishop to h6, knowing there will be a pre-move. Trading down the strong bishop without any effort. Sneaky, sneaky stuff. Maybe even hoping that black would have gone uncastled and picking up the bishop. Typical bishop h6 pre-move. This guy's definitely in it for the speed and the typical bullet tactics. Be careful, your knight's hanging, defends it. Knight needs to go to a bad square. Keith is going to find some nice homes for these two knights. He's planning something. First picks up a pawn. Does it really pick up a pawn? This trade will suit him because the rooks become active. No checks even. Both queen and knight are guarding that square. And he's got kind of like a Dutch position with these pawns on these squares. Just white wants to get active on the square, but black finds a way to transpose this into an endgame where he's got doubled pawn, but at this point he can start pushing someday. This is a nice tactic, definitely winning the exchange here. Wins a piece, better than winning the exchange. And okay, well, white obviously decided that winning the piece wasn't better than the exchange. Either way, that would have been winning. Blackberry with like 3 R's, the next opponent. And 420 is part of the name of Blackberry, I guess. His rating is kind of awesome at the moment. To 420, as an original Shakespearean. To be or not to be, to 420 or not to 420. Blackberry's got a profound name. Bishop e6. A very active square, actually. Can play on both sides if he wants to use the bishop to undermine these pawns. It's nice, and he's probably going to go king f7 someday and get one of the rooks on the g8. First goes for the queen side attack. And he can go rook a3 now. Rook a3 was possible, I guess. Yet again, sometimes it's easier playing as a spectator. There's no pressure of actually losing, so you can try your ideas. Okay, so he won the exchange here, and this game is definitely his now. He can go here. Pick up the rook. This is game over. Okay. 24 minutes. I think he's on fire now. This is a second win. 420 minus 4 points. So not 420. Now we got 423. Gives up a pawn here. I think this was unintentional. But maybe just part of dynamic play. Okay. So. Ooh, this knight's okay, I guess. d6 is fine. Pawn's still a while away from c5. He just stops this pawn. He drops another pawn, so definitely feeling a bit tired. And what is he thinking of? Maybe a knight here now. Okay, is there a pin or something? Yeah, this pin to pick up a pawn. This is good for him. He's at least not going to lose the game. He can pick up this pawn now. Goes to the central pawn. It's more worth getting his rooks on the second. Way more worth than any pawn. Going to drop this pawn as well, so he just holds on to it. He's equalized the position. He's maybe even looking to get his king active, because his rooks are a bit better than his opponent's now. From being worse to equalizing in an instant. This is just fantastic. Rook can't even take the pawn because of this check, but he drops this pawn, unfortunately. Was there a way to get the king here? Maybe he's going to try this now. Overload over there. Okay. Interesting. I wonder what his idea is. Okay. He wants to get this in. Then there's a mate threat. Now you need to run away from these rooks, so he's planning on going here. And that's checkmate. There you go. There was nothing black white could do anymore. Such a strong checkmating threat. Both these rooks on the 8th. And it feels like he's playing with concrete ideas. Coming back from a game where he's down 2 pawns. And winning in the end. 22 minutes to go. And 77th place. It seems likely that he's going to get 100th place. Is he going to get way better than that? I have no idea. He is on fire, so he got quite a few points to that win. If he gets this one, it'll definitely be good. Okay. Won't be bad. You can't go for the spawn. The rook will be hanging in the end of the trades. So he saves the rook, but now black starts an attack. He's going to go for the pawn now maybe, but what are the ideas then? Is there something like this in the end of the line? Queen takes rook here. It seems like losing. This is lost, right? Oh no. Okay. The guy sets up a trap. There's not much to do here. Oh. Okay. I was thinking black's going to go for the rook. So he tried one last idea, but black goes for the mate. So this was actually maybe an important game. Only took him a minute to lose it. We still got 21 minutes left. And his darts are still holding up, which is great. Be typical South African teenager with your data running out in a high-end, like high league chess tournament. Wouldn't even been frowned upon. I mean, okay. What are the imbalances here? The pawn is definitely a weakness. So white tries to be active with it. Actually, this does okay. I missed that it loses a piece. This was done so quickly. Defends the piece using his bishop on g7 very nicely, remaining active, and that shove actually allowed him to play knight to d3. So he gets a very active position. Once his opponent starts counterattacking, he counterattacks as well. Very nice. Now actually this pawn that was a weakness is very annoying. What to do is he's just going to block it. Okay, this is a concrete way of playing against it. Oh, this is weird. What to do here? Okay, but white's getting back some material. Just about how he's going to do it. Simply making the queen should also get back material, but I think, yeah, making the queen gets back material. Does it? Wait, yeah, okay. And, okay, going for this would have actually been bad, so he plays against the, no wait, this, that was insane. Okay, he probably saw all of this, and this is the most active way to have continued playing. But still a tricky knight there. No more passed pawn for him. He needs to get the king safe. So bishop g7 is coming, and king here. Get the queen back quickly. This knight was tricky. Maybe not there with the queen. I was also playing incorrectly. Oh, but he drops a queen. Okay, now don't become perplexed by the fact that you missed that. And okay, this is clever, quick tactic, holding on to material. And you need to keep your speed on now. You're up a few seconds, so throw in a check every now and again. No more checks to be given. Bishop comes here. Could be tricky now. You need to move this. Okay, that was queen that was hung, but now you've got to check. Oh, and another pin, and this means this queen can't move and give your king a check. Pins are always very nice in the end of the games in time scrambles, but this time scramble, well deserved win actually. Sophia 11. Actually, this player has got a good lifetime score against the Wolf, but not such a high rating. So I've probably also played against this player a few times. I think I've got a 1-1 score against this player. Actually, this isn't the player's rating. I think this is probably a 2400. That's why it's so confusing. And I don't remember them matching up in this tournament so far. And it seems like we have another French variation of the Sicilian something. Keith's king is also uncastled yet. Needs to go queen f8 to defend the pawn. Going f6 would have just dropped a pawn. Now looking to make this rook active or do something with it. I'm not too sure what. Now I don't like this position a lot, and maybe this is why this opponent has got the upper hand. Maybe it's just opening choice. But trading down leads to this tempo, but you've got this as the defending last resort. This is very key. Now you can move queen here. I think if rook takes, I'm not sure. White should have gone rook takes. Yeah. Luckily for Keith, he's still back in the game. Bad pawn structure, but active rook here. Where do you put the king? This rook becomes active like this. Don't even move the king away. Just bring your rook to the position immediately. The king can still castle. I missed that. Okay, that changes things. But maybe it was a resource that he didn't really need to use. The rook was probably doing a good job of attacking on the b file. And white being tricky with this knight. There's a fork, pick up the exchange, pick up the pawn. Don't even pick up the pawn, just play actively and then go for the pawn maybe. Go for this pawn, go for the knight, go for a check, go for time. Okay, white's bringing up the king. He's going to try and mate maybe. But he's actually bringing his king to the slaughter where there's loads of checks, where he's in time trouble. And South African Wolf makes amends with the lifetime score against Sophia 11. 16 minutes to go, 72nd place, 76th place, and we've got this tricky opponent, Fritzy 2003. I think this might, this is actually one of his most difficult matchups so far in this tournament, having a 2-1 score against him. Oh, and the other one is that woman FIDE master. Okay, so it seems like I'm back. Okay. But only auditively. Okay. So I missed a bit of action. The 6 minutes. I hope that's not too bad. I hope the games weren't too bad, which I missed. I can quickly go back towards the end of the stream and quickly just recap on them. But 97th place, and we still have loads of action before the end. Playing against Mafia. Another 2500, dropping a piece there. 1 second to go. Is Mafia going to mate him? He needs to pick up the pawn quickly. But these pawns are going to run through, and I think this is a pre-movable win. Mafia making things a bit tricky for himself, and Keith managing to get the draw there. Luckily for him, I don't know what this means for his standing in the tournament. Nicolaj 6 over here, and okay. He actually needs to win a few games now to stay in the top 100. These players are really going to contend for this top 100 place. And he gets this nice fork. But although this is actually just a trades. And I can't think about Nicolaj without thinking about Brooklyn 99. Trying to remember the character's name. His son is called Nicolaj. And that's a queen actually. That was very nice. Going for the knight, missing that his queen's hanging. And okay, hopefully we get in another pairing quickly. He needs more wins just to secure this 100th place. Too scared to leave his page again. Scared we're gonna miss some action. And Gulabovsky Max, 92nd place. Wolf in 85, but 8 minutes to go. 8 minutes 40. Actually, I'm going to try and extend the screen so that the time of the tournament's also displayed. The pressure is felt here, and okay, we'll end this tournament with an intense replay with screen only. And call me Mr. London saying the boy can't lose when he's around, and the boy pinning a piece, making it tricky to castle, just stepping out of that. This is a nice from black, trying to get the rook active as well. White maybe was hoping for king f8. King d8 seems a lot stronger. Now the bishop can actually move. And this is annoying. What to do now? He trades down actually. That's a way to trade down. But now he's playing down 2 pawns. But these pieces are still inactive. So maybe he can win some material back. Not seeing it though. Looks like he's going to be playing tricky game. And blunders a piece. Okay, he's going to throw in the towel now. This was a bad game. Both bishops just prying through the position. Okay, he wants to play down maybe the material. I guess the clock is still a factor. Black's going to simplify now very quickly, making these bishops a nuisance. And what to do, you can't play really against Still a lot of pawns on the board. Black keeping these in his reserve. Okay, this was sneaky. Now, okay, white resigns. Okay. Bonele is saying a few rude things, I think, there in the comments section. And he's had Hank Hakan Kaplan, if you have to pronounce like that, before in the tournament. Playing against them again. I'm not sure what the opening was. I think this is another one of those games where white just threw down the pawn. Down the board on the H file. Very thematic of this tournament so far. Oh, this is actually devastating. What to do? You can resign here. No defending. The coordination of the queen and the knight and the rook down this file. You need to just start chucking pieces away on these light squares. And the wolf knows it, and he's going to try and get a few more pairings in before the tournament's over. We actually haven't seen a berserk game from him so far. No berserking. And okay, he's finding a nice outpost for the knight on d5. A lot of maneuvering to get the knights there, but since they're coordinated, black really doesn't want to trade on the square. It'll leave white with a huge advantage. Maybe looking for different ways to do it. White leaving this square just to go after a pawn, but I think this drops a pawn in return again. Now he's playing very trickily. Maybe has to go for this. And material equality, but this pawn seems very nice for white. You can't take, that'll give up the bishop, so just defends the bishop for now. And maybe you can just put your rook on d4, okay. Makes the queen active, going after a piece. Can't take the rook, lose a piece because this comes with check. Okay, there you go. And what to do with the queen? Pick up a few pawns with the queen. And this pawn's always going to be a weakness. White's looking to recapture with the pawn and then push for this advantage. Not anymore. Is he going to go for this endgame? Does it suit him though? Very, very hard to say. This is a weakness. Black's going to coordinate. The king pawn endgame should suit him though. Black's not entering, but then again, this could just be a draw. You could hold on to that pawn. You could have actually just pushed the pawn, I guess. It won't matter if you're down the pawn over here. But this is probably just going to be a draw. None of the sides can enter. Kings are shut off. But we're going to see a flag or 50 moves now. And they just make a draw. More than enough time to make 50 moves with pre-moves like this. White's king isn't entering. No way. Black's king isn't entering. All these squares are covered for black. All these for white. And okay, this leaves us with 4 minutes to go. Second to last game most likely. But the players become pretty tense now. 95th place. This 100th place is really not a joke. It seemed pretty likely earlier on. But coming back to this time in the tournament, even lots of late joiners quickly joining, trying to get that 100th place. Strong GMs with those intentions. And he's gonna need a win if he gets that. Okay, he seems comfortable. His opponent's sacked a piece for an attack. Very tricky to deal with. King h8 now. But what's your story after rook here or knight here? Oh, this is just bad. You can take the queen. Take the queen. Oh, but this is checkmate. Oh my word. Tactically so sound. And rook takes is going to walk into queen takes. So grabbing some material there is black. But now they've actually just played a very fancy way of trading down material. You could have taken the bishop. That could have helped. So tactically aware, but at times also not tactically aware. So it's a tough combination. Bishop's coming there, right? With this mate threat. Okay, white's not seeing it. Oh, but rook takes. White is seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Bishop's also in the corner. This is very nice. Oh, that was sad. The bishop was in the corner defending this. Just moving so quickly. Losing that 100th place. 2 minutes to go. He might need to berserk to keep this place. Very symmetrical position. White giving up this pawn. Now there's a bit of an imbalance. This is a solid knight, but still a solid bishop, solid diagonal to play on. Gives up the square again, try to get in and moves quickly. And in fact, I think he might not hold on to this 100th place if he's only going to win this game. That'll only be 2 points on the tournament standings. So unfortunately, I don't think that's going to help him. Unless he gets in a win now, quickly, and gets in another game, quickly. In fact, even then, I'm afraid that might not be enough. Queen and rook might be something. This wins. Come on. Come on, white. Please resign. This player needs to get back to the tournament. Thank you so much. And he's probably going to try and get another win in. Hopefully he does. That will be 4 points. 100th place. Does this move him up or down? Who knows? Players are going to come quickly with these wins now. And this pairing feels like it's taking long. 1:23 to go. And we should really be seeing another game. There you go. Hannibal. He's taken this player down before. No berserking, just playing quickly. And this is probably the final game of the tournament for the Wolf, who's got an impressive lifetime score against Hannibal 03. Actually, King F2 is very sassy. I like it. Going for an aggressive kingside attack. Needs this win quickly. If Hannibal, I guess, wants to, he could let his time run out. The Wolf won't be getting any points, but maybe they'll be making a draw soon. Seems like the tournament tactic. The Wolf in 89. We'll only be able to see what happens at the end of this game. And I think he's doing this deliberately. He's not going to let Hannibal... Wait, he won a piece somehow. I've been missing the action. Where did this happen? Queen d3. Go for that mate in one. And agree to a draw sometime. I think that's the tournament tactic. Oh, interesting. But I think I can say with surety, no matter what happens on the board, these players will agree to a draw in 9 seconds or less. Unless the Wolf's going to be a purist and play for the win, there should be a draw. 1 second. Okay, no draws. And the game will be finished. The game won't count for the tournament. So let's see if he wins this game. I'm guessing he's going to win it. There's not too many threats. I'm not seeing this bishop and rook posing too much danger. And he's actually making some progress, 1 apiece. And Hannibal can resign now, I guess. Plays a sneaky move, but then throws in the towel. And well done to the Wolf. Let's see if he's got that 100th place. Okay, I'm just going to search there. Okay, let's see how that ended up. Oh my word. Where's the Wolf? In 95th place. Well done. And also not even going for the draw tactic. It wasn't necessary. But extremely close. If we look at 100th place, also with 87 points, as the Wolf has. So definitely not a runaway. That might have been a good tactic to use, just to make sure. Up to 104th place, 87 points. His performance, really well there. We've got a performance of... the tournament average is 1840. I was actually looking for the Wolf now, trying to find his performance. 2471, which is incredible. A 49% win rate, remarkable against the players he was playing against. And just to check up on if our friend Clarence Quadri played, okay, he did not play. So that comparison couldn't be made tonight, but I'm sure one night we will make that analogy and it will be pretty interesting. Oh, the comparison, not analogy. So thank you for watching. Sorry about the glitch there in the middle. I had a technical problem. In any case, I'll see you guys soon for more videos and streams. Actually tomorrow for the Corona Chess Wars, and then again for my USA Split stream. I thank you for watching, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so, and enjoy your nights. And well done to the South African Wolf yet again.